Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, Baker Brews. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Donna and I'm a stay-at-home mom to two boys, currently ages 5 and 3. On this channel, we share all about homesteading in the city, as well as share a ton of our family adventures. This video's topic is where in our house does the bulk of the homeschooling bookwork happen? And I'm going to tell you, it's not at a desk and it's not in a perfectly set up homeschooling room. I'm doing a bit of a mini series answering some homeschooling questions and thoughts, and wanted to give back to that community because that is where I have learned so much and have gathered so many ideas of how to homeschool, the ideas of things you can implement in your homeschool, or just crafts and activities, ways to teach. So I wanted to share and answer one of the main topics that I feel like is a main point of question, and it's where does homeschooling happen? It's at the kitchen table! The first reason that it happens at the kitchen table is because it's a huge, awesome table. I'm kidding, but I'm also not kidding. I adore having the biggest table ever. It's called the Transformer table, and it can be like this big or it can be like yay big. So I really love that I can, have our family's dinner out. I can also have dishes drying at the end. I can have the arts and craft projects still fit and plants at the end, and it just doesn't feel too crowded, although I keep stacking stuff on it, it feels crowded. I love that I can have a whole project ready to go and laid out for the kids, or like a recipe, and I can have all the ingredients out and ready to go on our huge, awesome, massive table. I love it. When we host family over, I feel like everyone can sit at the dinner table, and that's really something of value to me. The second reason is just with our current schedule. Right now, bookwork happens first thing in the morning. The kids wake up, they have breakfast, then it's time for bookwork and schoolwork. The flow is very easy. Obviously, then I can have my breakfast or my coffee, and my oldest can be starting to work on his bookwork, and the youngest, if he's still eating, can continue eating. I can clean the table at the same time because we just transitioned basically from breakfast into bookwork. And that's just the schedule and the life that we're in right now. I need to be able to help both the youngest and the oldest quite frequently with eating or with their schoolwork, so I need to be able to access them both quite easily, and having everybody at the kitchen table just makes that a reality. The third reason is because of subject change. Right now we utilize a morning basket. I have a whole video about the morning basket that we got started a few months ago and how awesome it is, so good. I even store the morning basket under the kitchen table, which works so slick. So my oldest will, pull out his math notebook, get started writing his math numbers, and then when we want to switch, I can easily put that notebook back underneath, transition to read aloud time or into his French lessons, and then we can kind of move that way, and there isn't that delay. I can just grab it, one from under the table while putting the other one away. I haven't left the room, so there's not as much distraction, and we just continue with that really good flow, and it's easy to get through a lot of subjects when it's just all handy. Ultimately, we just don't get as distracted and we stay on point and get through things so much faster. The fourth reason is focus. I'm really trying to help encourage and teach my oldest that he can continue on his bookwork even if I have to leave the room or if I am doing something else. That doesn't mean that gives him the liberty to fool around and get distracted. I'm really trying to teach him to continue to stay focused on the task at hand until it's completed. Keep in mind, my oldest is 5.5 now, so he's not at the kitchen table or like doing crazy tons of bookwork. We're doing this for like 45 minutes to a maximum of an hour and a half, and by then we need to change pace. We need to go outside, or we need to get moving, or we're off to a play date. So we just need to have some really good focus, get it done, and then we can move on to the next thing. I really don't want to be hovering over him the whole time, so since I'm trying to teach him to stay focused a little bit more on his own, we've obviously tried different places in the house to see, do you focus really good here, or is this a better place for you to do your bookwork? And pretty much it boils down to it needs to come back to the kitchen table. this is the place that he focuses the best and stays focused without getting distracted or picking up a new toy or anything like that, because there are no toys. We have a rule of no toys in the kitchen, so then they're just not here to distract you as much. You have your bookwork, you need to get it done, or you're eating your breakfast. There's kind of one or the other, and that's all you have for choices. The fifth reason is building a habit. So because we have set this premise of the kitchen table is where the work is getting done or the bookwork is getting done, then as soon as we sit down with our schoolwork, then your mental energy is turned on and you are in a mental state and ready state to get going on that task. And I feel like then you have just a better focus. You're just more on it. We've built this routine habit of getting the schoolwork, bookwork done right after breakfast, which conveniently also happens at the kitchen table. So you're not moving to a different location. You're not having to even gather a lot of supplies because, as I said, the morning basket is stored underneath the table. So you come to the table, you have your breakfast, you're right into schoolwork, bookwork, because it's all conveniently located right here. This is our habit. We do it every morning. My kids are little kids, like 5.5 and 3, so they're very little, and having routines and building a habit and building consistency is something that really helps with the flow of our life and being able to get things accomplished, and it builds security and all those other good things. This is the end of my topic and food for thought about homeschooling and where to homeschool. Obviously, let me just say this, I'm just an average mom trying to find out what works for our family and for our kids, and by the time my youngest is school age or ready to take on more bookwork, things might change and it might look a little bit different for us. So I don't expect this to be the be all end all, and it's not the only way. If you have another idea or another place in your home that works ultra fantastic for where you homeschool, please share it in the comments below. I know I really found a ton of value from the homeschooling and the YouTube community here. And like I said, I just want to share and give back and some ideas and things about what I have learned starting my homeschooling journey with my family.